If you got this leak, you've been prayed for. So today we're looking at the very end of Philemon 1:6. And for those of you who have somewhere else to be, I'm going to get right to the point. Read your Bible. And if it's hard to understand, meditate on it. Read and meditate. So you look at the end of Philemon 1:6, and I'm going to put the comments down below. But we grabbed the end of verse 6 from a couple of different translations and 7 common English translations of the Bible, and none of them say exactly the same thing. But they all pretty much say the same thing. So that's the point of this. And if you've stopped listening, you already got the point. We're under a minute. But for the next 2 minutes or so, I'm going to kind of nerd out on you. So if that's it for you, love you, God bless. Send me your prayer requests. Read more below. For everybody else, let's get really nerdy. So the Bible wasn't written in English. I know, shocking. It's written in Hebrew, ancient Hebrew, Koine Greek, and a couple of verses in Aramaic. For those of you who are wondering, no, we don't do a whole lot of Aramaic, but just enough that it's still in there. So big ones are Hebrew, most of the Bible, and Koine Greek. Thankfully, both of those still pretty easy to understand. We don't have any original copies of any books of the Bible. What we do have is thousands upon thousands upon thousands of copies of the Bible. So if you do nerd out on how do we know that the words really said this in the original language, when you pull up the Dead Sea Scrolls, which were found thousands of years after the early copies copies of the originals that we had, and they say the same thing as we've said the Bible's been saying for thousands of years, you have a pretty high confidence that we're on target. So where's the really hard part come in? When you're taking a language and turning it into another language, you have to assume the reader of the original language has any idea what's going on. So let's take English. Everybody reads at a different reading level in English, and we all know that. So when I'm trying to translate something from Greek into English, I'm trying to translate it for an audience. So we've dropped a whole bunch below, little nerd verses like John 1:1. There's a whole group of non-Christians that say, well, they didn't use the definite article, so they're not saying Jesus is God. They're saying he's just like a mini God. Weird stuff like that. But anyways, all that is below. We went super nerdy deep dive. But we're going to pass it to Noah in a second for the most important part. Thanks for hanging out this long. I really hope you enjoy all the homework we did below. And hey, big guy.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.